In 2018, I found myself in the midst of an illegal, attempted sale of a young chimpanzee. At the time, I had just learned about the efforts of the Forestry Development Authority to curb the illegal bushmeat and live pet trade. A man traveled from Nimba County to Monrovia via motorbike, a very long trek with the hopes of selling this baby chimpanzee. Armed with this new information, I immediately recognized this is the exact situation that had been explained to me. I took the chimp and began making phone calls. He was weak, dehydrated, and scared. As I waited for the authorities to arrive, I fed him, gave him water, and even rocked him to sleep. I made sure to keep tabs on the situation, and I found out that the chimpanzee, now named Tom, was taken to our only chimpanzee sanctuary here in Liberia, the Liberia Chimpanzee Rescue and Protection. And this is where the story continues.
You know, we came to Liberia in 2015, sort of near the end of Ebola, to help this other group of chimpanzees. These chimpanzees that were used in a biomedical research program. So that people who know Monkey Island,
right.
Chimpanzees that live on Monkey Island, were the chimps that used to be at LIBR.
They're so human-like. Wow.
Go.
And the group that had done the research was a group called the New York Blood Center, and they had done research for like 30 years on these chimps, and retired them. And after 10 years, they just, during Ebola, they cut off funding. They said, we're not going to take care of these chimpanzees anymore. So basically those chimps were left to die. And we were hired to come in and help those chimpanzees. And then we were only supposed to be here for 1 month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, definitely overstayed that.
Overstayed the 1 month a little bit.
Yeah.
And we realized there was this bigger problem. So these chimpanzees needed help, but then we kept hearing about these young chimpanzees that were orphans from the bushmeat trade.
Yeah.
And so we started rescuing some chimps. We started working with the FDA, and we realized that there really needed to be a sanctuary built for these chimps that were orphans from the bushmeat trade. And somebody needed to do something about it. And so that's how we started. So now, 5 years later, we have 65 chimps. We've rescued 65 chimps. And we just, where we are, we're still on the grounds of LIBR. And it's not suitable.
Right, for the amount of chimps that you now have.
Exactly. So. Started. So this facility actually was built for the research chimps, right, as an integration facility before they put them out on islands. Because when they were doing the research, they lived in those old cages over there, in groups of 2. So before they, yeah, exactly. So before they could put them on the islands, they had to make cohesive
like
groups.
A transition.
Yeah, see who would get along with each other. So when we came, we were fortunate that this was here because we wouldn't have been able to rescue all these guys if they couldn't be kept in this enclosure.
Yeah.
You know.
They look like they're having so much fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So even though it's a small space for them, and they're not in a forest, the fact that they're with other chimps is what's
right.
most important.
Right.
Much better, huh? Some kids are trying to sell her, and we don't know exactly how long she was in captivity before they tried to sell her. And then we heard about her, we called the FDA, and the FDA got together with the police, and they arrested the people. So 3 people were arrested. And it's a good thing we got her because her She was quite sick and weak, actually. So she's been on antibiotics for about over a week now.
I love to take care of them. When they arrive, sometimes when they come, they can look sick. So, at least you need to take care of them. And when you take care of them, they need special attention to focus on them. They will not die because whenever you focus on them, they will die.
So she's playing. So she's smiling. You know, they all come in at different. Every one is an individual,
Right.
number one. But number two, they come in with different conditions. So they're all obviously psychologically damaged because somebody killed their mother, and then they've spent maybe some time in captivity. And when they're in captivity with someone, we don't know what kind of care they're getting.
Right.
I mean, some people actually really love them.
We love them and treat them,
And treat them well, but even those guys, they're probably not getting the right food that they need.
Right.
They're still probably not getting the right care that they need, even if someone loves them.
and not being around their own kind.
And they're not around their own kind.
Yeah.
So like this little baby here, she's probably 1.5 to 2 years old.
Okay.
She would still be with her mother 24 hours.
Right. Because when do they
And of
detach
course.
from their mothers? Like what age?
So the first year, they're literally like physically attached
Okay.
for 24/7. Then even up to age 3, they're really close by. They don't really venture far off. And then even up to age 5, they're within sight distance, and they'll sleep with their mom up to age 3 in the same nest. They make 2 nests every night. And up to age 5, they might have a nest like right next to them. It's not up until they become sexually mature, which is like somewhere between 7 and 9 years old, where they might leave the group. The female might leave the group. But up to that point, they'll even be close enough that they can hear their mom. So, you know, if they're around their mom for a long time, so this little baby, so what we try and do is we try and provide, simulate as best we can the life they would be receiving in the wild, which is 24 hours. Now, when they're sick like this, it's a different level of stuff that needs to happen. And we get them, sometimes they come in and they might have a broken arm or a leg or gunshot wounds.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
From hunters.
From the hunters. So the hunters kill the mother.
Yeah.
They might be holding the baby gets shot as well. So they might have shotgun
Like
pellets in their skin.
yeah.
So, all manner of different conditions they come in. So we leased about 150 acres of land from the local community, and there's about 100 acres of that is forest. And so now we've built the facilities to house the chimps, where they can sleep at night and they can spend their days in the forest.
In the forest, okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a dorm.
It is. It's a night. Well, I mean, it is literally. It's the night dorm.
The night dorm. And so the chimps go out in the day, but they always come back.
They always come back. I mean, in fact, right now, what you're going to see, we haven't actually finished. So we're going to see the site in final stages of construction. And we won't actually move. So chimps actually, these are the young chimps.
Okay.
We drive them out every morning to the forest. So they get in we call it the school bus. They get in the car, we drive them out, they spend the day in the forest, and then in the evening they get back in the car and go back.
They go back to the store.
They sleep in the house.
Sounds like a good life.
It is.
Sounds like a good life. I'm not, maybe I should join.
Yeah.
Somehow, yeah?
It's
Get a
not
little
bad.
ride.
Yeah, they got a little pack lunch. We've built 5 buildings plus the water tower. So obviously that's the water tower. This is the generator house. So the last thing we have to do is sort of do the electricity.
Oh wow, it's like a little community.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the colors.
This is our office.
These are office here. And these are
This is the food preparation building.
Okay.
And that's the nursery building.
Okay, that's where the
So this is
babies
where
are.
the babies will sleep. And this is the dormitory.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is quite a sight here.
So it's built for 55 chimps.
Okay.
So we're already over capacity.
Oh, you're full.
Yeah, we're over full. I mean, it's 55 adults, so we'll be fine for a while, but we're gonna have to expand. And that's why part of the issue is we need to stop people killing the wild chimpanzee.
Right. So then you
Yeah.
won't have a full house.
So that we don't get any more. So as you can see, it's six rooms.
Okay. Hammocks?
Hammocks, yeah.
You want me to move in, like today?
It's nice, right?
So Mary Beauty was confiscated by a ranger in Sapo National Park. When we figured out she was probably a few days old, because by the time she got her teeth, she just started getting her teeth, and it's been 3 months, and chimps get their first teeth around 2 to 3 months. We knew she was quite young because of how small she was, but when she got her teeth, we looked back, and she was confiscated by a ranger from a hunter directly in the park. Unfortunately, the ranger was by himself. He wasn't armed, as they aren't, and he was not with a team of people. So the best he could do was rescue her, which was great. And she went directly to Fauna Flora International's office there. Luckily, they have an office there. They called me, and we were able to talk them through caring for her for a few days. And the road wasn't passable, so we kept waiting for the road, and then finally we just got nervous, and I got on a flight and flew up and got her and picked her up, and so she got to fly back here. And then basically she's been attached to me for 3 months. Physically and emotionally attached for 3 months, and she's doing great. She's crawling now, walking around. She's very curious about everything. She's gotten some teeth, and so soon, now that she's had her quarantine and she's gotten a little older, pretty soon we'll be able to start integrating her with our baby group. So she'll start meeting other chimps and start learning to be a chimp again.
Look at that little yawn. Oh, and then you turn to the camera. That was perfect. Yeah.
She had a lot of injuries from probably most likely from falling out of the tree.
Right.
Because she was so little, she wouldn't have been, her mom would have been holding her.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they can hold on, but not when they're first born. The first couple weeks mom has to hold them. And so mom was probably shot. As soon as she's shot, the baby falls out of her arms, and she had like scrapes all over.
I remember her face was pretty scarred up.
It's very, very, very emotional. And with each one, it's emotional. People sometimes say, who's your favorite? And it's like, I don't have a favorite, but different, each little person has a different story. So, but each one is emotional. I mean, every single baby we get has been orphaned. So you start already at that. So you already start at, this is a little orphan whose mom was killed in front of him or her. Mm-hmm. So it's emotional right from the get-go. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you get totally attached to them. I mean, they're...
How could you not?
Yeah, and they're physically attached to you. And then, of course, you know, so they're with you every second. And then you're watching them
grow.
Hopefully transform into happy little people from, you know, tragedy. So not only is it emotional, you know, the sad part and the happy part, but also just to me, it's really inspirational to watch how they are able to overcome such tragic circumstances. You know.
Good.
Drink some.
And we now declare this facility that will play host to chimpanzees that will be rescued and to ensure that they are protected, but more so to the overall protection of wildlife in our country, which will contribute and enhance further biodiversity and the sustainability of our own livelihood as a people and as a country. And we do so by best practice. We do this dedication in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
For the chimpanzees, we're very, very proud of it. It's unique to this country, and so and it's entirely funded by the European Union. So we are so incredibly grateful. We would not be able to move here if we didn't have this building. So without the European Union's help, we would not be able to move here.
On behalf of this little girl here, and for her and her sisters and her brothers, that they have a better living quarters and that they grow old here without nobody else, no other brothers and sisters coming. Let's inaugurate this today.
Yay! Yay! At the One Health Center, we really hope that that's going to be the place where we can help Liberia, and Liberia can help others to build capacity in all aspects of the health and well-being of every species, and preserve biodiversity and build capacity of veterinarians. There's no veterinary school here, so this guy should be starting to teach some people some vet skills here. And you know, animal welfare, but also extending beyond that to disease prevention and pandemic work and biodiversity preservation and conservation, any aspect of that. We hope to build our center to be something that's a holistic place for everybody to come and learn and work with all of our partners.
Okay, so we are finally here. We're here at the opening night of LCRP's dorm. We've seen before, you and I came out, we've seen the opening, and now we're here. So we're here with Jenny and Jimmy. How are you guys feeling? Oh, and Mary Beauty.
And
Mary, we can't leave her.
Mary Beauty's been in the whole process as well. We're super excited, nervous,
yes,
and a lot of planning goes into it. So we can only plan so much and then see what happens.
Right, let's see how it goes.
We have a plan for them to come in, and their carers will sleep with them tonight, and for the next several nights until they get used to it. Then their carers will move outside, and they'll sleep in there until they get used to it, and then there will always be somebody here with them.
Right.
But we hope that will go smoothly, and then
we'll see in a few minutes, see how that goes.
Everybody's
so they're going to be
personality.
coming out of the forest, and they're going to be moving into here.
Yep.
So let's show folks of what you guys are thinking about how this is going to go. We're going to see how it goes. Jimmy, you're going to kind of give me the rundown.
We'll do a little tour. So these guys are like 3 to 4 years old.
Okay.
So they're getting, bigger.
Yes.
And so they're going to come down this road.
Okay.
And then hopefully what will happen is their caregivers will go through this little raceway here.
Okay.
And the chimps, hopefully all of them will follow their caregivers and go into their sleeping area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens if it doesn't go as
Well,
planned?
then we're going to have to figure out what
What's
to
plan
do.
B?
Yeah. Plan B will be some of them will go in, and then because some might just be like excited.
Just hanging around,
Yeah, they might want to climb up there. They might want to go over
Just
there.
like their new house, it's like cribs.
Exactly.
LCRP
It is.
edition.
It's totally. And we've been waiting for this day
I
for
know.
years.
This is so exciting.
So this is like it's like a momentous day for LCRP.
So we're getting a live look of how this hasn't been done before. This is not a test run. We're live.
No,
We're gonna see how it goes.
This is live action. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
Hopefully it goes well.
Fingers crossed. Okay. scared. Auntie, leave her. Leave him. Get me.
I didn't even recognize it.
Someone's biting my foot.
Oh my
Come inside and see my Oh, my little girl.
But she's grown a lot.
This is like a daycare.
Maybe we should go out.
One option is to have the